Okay, so once again, allowing ourselves to get comfortable, whether that's seated or lying down, allowing ourselves to settle into our heart space and to settle into the now moment, here together as a community of light. And as we connect into our heart centers, allowing ourselves to connect into that 0 point, that eternal atom seed of our existence, we perhaps move into a place of full identification with ourselves as source, as pure and radiant source consciousness, our own unique individuation as source. And as we do this, as we drop into the now moment, into the present moment, as we connect with the 0 point within our high heart and identify with ourselves fully as source embodied, we allow for a grand journey of infinite miracles, of infinite possibilities of creation, as we, from this vantage point and positioning of our consciousness as the witnessing observer, we are able to freely flow into the everything and the nothing. We disengage ourselves from the conditions and the finite structures of potential that exist within our third dimensional reality. And we open ourselves into the window of eternal potential, infinite potential. So as we do this, as we drop in, as we make this connection, meeting ourselves lovingly, free of all judgment in this now moment, meeting ourselves here in this 0 point, what is it that we clearly intend to bring forth as our creation for this journey of here and now? Setting a clear intention. As we set a clear intention and we direct and focus our source consciousness within and through and as that intention, we witness the creation and the manifestation of that intention rippling out in so many different fields of awareness. So setting a clear intention, and when we're ready, engaging in that sacred breath of resurrection. Again, this is a 2-part inhale and a 1-part exhale. Inhale, lower belly. Inhale, heart. Exhale. Inhale, lower belly. Inhale, heart. Exhale. Finding a rhythm, finding a pace, and a flow of that breath that feels most supportive and nourishing and nurturing for you as the unique individual on this unique journey of here and now. Setting the general intention for here and now, calling in the greatest miracles capable of manifesting here and now for all whom have gathered with grace and ease in accordance to the highest prime source creator, law and order, light and love. Letting go. Where can we let go of the fear? Where can we let go of the control? Where can we let go of the attachment we have to the stories that we have participated in co-creating, to the characters and the roles that we have played in these stories? Letting go, moving into the vast and glorious field of infinite potential. That infinite potential realized, expressed, engaged in when we let go of the entanglement of lower density, opening our hearts, opening all of our meridians, gateways, portals, chakras, into the grand and infinite flow. Prasambhya shonrea krosaria pianra indianrin. Aru sabra suniandre se pure krasandran. Flowing in and through and all around us once again. Divine Mother Sophia Source's womb of all creation. Her plasma womb frequency. Flowing in abundance all around us. Bringing us into this 0 point of all creation, this infinite field of creation potential. As we allow ourselves to dive into the embrace, the support, and the nourishment of this womb center, we allow for ourselves to disengage and let go of the finite potentials that we have participated in through our experience as a human incarnate and through all space-time continuum whereby we have participated in such levels of polarity. Letting go. Arosongre creso trisapishan rendien dada toros atrandien. Prosumangara socre pishanan. Alalala sapara sundra piandrea tra 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 sotri sandri. Anguro korepi a os anondra piashanani. Haru sale alandra borosandin. Iandra ratra sambara sundin. Iandro kuru presi piasara trandan. Harotro sapiandi andiandri. Ya pro saru sianiasen. Andrapia craso scendi andriani, Andrapia sotresi atrandro, Halausan harosoni andran, Iambarotros yashandra pianrani, Andraporoso chiari purusi chandra sandre, Iandrotros sombrat atrapia sondri, Ye andratra sutiashan. Papura Sophia Sandra Sabiari, Harapra Samrayandrayandi, Isasarutro Saktandrapia Setia Sindriandran, Oro Pra, Aweyan, Piangra Huisetrim Rumranreyan, Orariae. Umbrongra sabria sondria andrea piandran uraria nan uraria ran pakasa sasa yambroge iange asipi ketre sandrean poporo praia flowing down and through and all around us now. We feel once again these radiant pillars of pure God realm light, these 5 pillars of pure, impenetrable illumination, flowing down and through from the God realms, clearing, cleansing, disengaging, transmuting, dissolving all threads of chaotic nodes and inorganic frequencies that have entered into our own personal hologram through conscious and unconscious choices and participation, clearing, cleansing, disengaging bringing forth to our greater awareness as we connect as the witnessing presence in this now moment, to fully connecting with ourselves as source, witnessing where the wisdom is to be presented, made aware, and embodied in all of our expressions of consciousness and creation. Opening ourselves up to this field of greater awareness and clarity of that which we have chosen to consciously and unconsciously participate in. And as we do, as we come into that greater embodiment of sovereignty, taking full ownership of our unique sound and light energy signatures, our own unique sacred geometric hologram of existence, we allow for ourselves to navigate through and choose what we desire to continue to participate in and what we desire to no longer participate in. Feeling that sense of freedom and sovereignty when we remember who we are, when we remember that it is truly that simple, connecting into the present moment, connecting to our breath, connecting into the 0 points within our heart, identifying with ourselves as source, and from this vantage point of pure clarity and omnipotence, we allow ourselves to choose and create our reality through the lenses of choice. Opening, feeling, allowing, as this radiant elixir of pure God realm light flows down and through. Once again, bringing us into our own unique sphere of light, meeting each and every one of us where we are in this now moment, engaging in the highest activation and embodiment of our divine architecture in accordance to the directing of our consciousness and our choices, opening, feeling, remembering. Arwalalaya krasandre diandre bishandra satre handabiatra kurutro san ayandro trayan tuaya huainanian prasandraya huya Parua papaya trasongre Christian re sambrakratras uyanran. Staying with the breath, flowing down and through and all around us once again. This radiant column of pure platinum source light, above, below, side to side, all around, flowing through, transporting us once again, transporting us now into the inner earth, into this radiant temple of pure golden white illumination, going into this portal, into the sacred ceremony, met by the divine feminine ascended master Christos collective, opening us up into our own unique journey of here and now, going into the depths and activation of very significant codes, Christ codes of pure self-love, opening us up opening us up into our own unique expression and activation of here and now, going into the depths of cellular and radical self-love, opening our meridians, chakras, gateways, and portals, feeling ourselves now ushered by our own personal team of these radiant beings of divine feminine Christos consciousness, stepping forth, taking us into our own sphere, this radiant womb space of pure golden Christ light, feeling the diamond and golden white and gold light flowing down and through, preparing each and every one of us for a deep cellular journey of releasing all that is in polarity to the full embodiment of every single fractal of our consciousness that we have ever experienced as source, as the individuation, throughout all space-time continuum, that desires through our high self, through our oversoul, through our blueprint, to come back home, to come back online, to come back into a sense of embodiment, embodying the wisdom, embodying the grace, while simultaneously disengaging, dissolving, transmuting any and all threads of discordance, discomfort, dis-ease, deception, anything and everything that is in polarity to the radiant expression of immaculate, unconditional self-love. Feeling the invitation as you are enveloped in a glorious sphere of pure, divine, Mother, Christ light. Feeling the nourishment, instantaneously feeling a great and deep activation within the heart space as we open ourselves up, feeling that sense of deep, unparalleled sweetness that comes from the flow of this omnipotent, divine Mother light, opening us up, instantaneously beginning to heal all layers and levels of the wounds within, the wounds of the mother, the wounds of the father, the wounds of all layers and levels of experience that now come to the surface of this transmission, of this now moment, of our omnipresence and awareness that desire to be transcended and released. Feeling and sensing the divine birthright of this grand flow and embodiment of self-love, it immediately begins to bring forth the greater clarity, transparency, and recognition of so many of the deception programs and imprints of self-limiting and false beliefs of what true embodiment of self-love means and feels and expresses as. Opening up and witnessing how this is a grand crystalline bridge and connection through the embodiment of self-love. Feel how that opens us up into the gateways, the crystalline gateways and bridges into the embodiment of law of one, unified consciousness. And through and over and within these gateways, how we open and access the portals and gateways to immaculate compassion, immaculate clarity, immaculate divine truth, gratitude, unconditional love, grace, peace, joy, freedom, and a myriad of frequencies that are opening us into the higher and higher and higher levels of conscious attainment and awareness and embodiment. Frequencies that we are not even in awareness of in our limited scope of consciousness within the third density, that are in the full flow of what takes place when we open ourselves into this invitation of radical self-love through the frequencies of pure Christ consciousness, pure source consciousness here and now. Staying with the breath and allowing ourselves to go into those places, in those spaces within that we've previously judged and imprinted and deemed unworthy of love and acceptance. Witnessing how this massive flow of plasma, gold, and white light move down and through and disengage, defunct those programs, allowing us to see beyond the veils and the distortion of these programs into the clarity of that which has always existed within. Opening and allowing, going deeper and deeper and deeper into your own unique expression of this journey of radical, immaculate self-love, divine love, free of all conditions, free flowing in an infinite stream of radiant love consciousness, connecting to the bandwidths of the cosmic diamond love coherence field, opening beyond any and all previous acknowledgement and access to what was felt and expressed as love into this wide open range as we feel the significance of what is taking place. We allow ourselves to dissolve all of our thoughts now into our heart space and flow into this grand journey of greater self-realization. Sumraria rusariandron angorabia drasa prosipia rusa huai yandrabia prosunre yarararan crosopia sunre pia sunratra sandratri tratran trukro alalebia prosundo yabuarwe pakwara saniane Undropia shitri sungropia sanrandan alalalia protra tra trua sanreple ungra traian dan 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 urandan dan 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 andapia seandre ungropia paya trase usapies an isha satai sampion crea piatra hawe paya soyang araya seatran Halapu turapietre andrasinde yahu ye ambarope pavu sundutran kipa kwa pralia lala sunre usare eli penkaria lala satresin pus sutrusin harusatra pianrendi. Flowing into now these radiant pools of plasma water, opening up, diving deep within these radiant golden white pools of plasma light, the water consciousness, the sacred source consciousness of plasma water, flowing down, further assisting our cellular water and DNA in the full disengaging, transmuting, and letting go of those deep imprints of polarity, those deep imprints of self-sacrifice, of unworthiness, of self-hatred, of criticism, judgment, of constraints and conditions, freeing us now, freeing us into this grand scope of embodiment of pure, unconditional, immaculate self-love. And as we travel and journey into these pools of liquid source consciousness, we allow ourselves to see through the clear mirrors of this plasma technology, the truths, the divine truths of what it means when we choose to embody greater and greater and greater bandwidths of love, of self-love, how that is instantaneously mirrored out and brought through in the ripple effect to the all that is. As the self is one with all, the self is one with everything. The self is the connection to the unified field of consciousness, to the law of one, as we are all one, and the self represents all. And when we go inward and we radiate and embody and fall in love with the self as source, we fall in love with every fractal of consciousness that has ever been within existence, as every fractal of consciousness ever in existence is part of the one source field of creation. Opening, witnessing, embodying, letting go, transmuting, dissolving any and all of the subconscious and conscious belief systems that have been imprinted to allow for us to believe on varying levels and degrees that self equals selfish. One of the many distortion and reversal frequencies of this world of the upside down in which we reside. Letting go. Seeing the self minus the fish. Seeing the self in the true radiance of what it embodies and what it encompasses, which is the unified field of all, which is that sweetest space of pure oneness. Opening, allowing, breathing, embodying. Halal sangara puasayan diambrutri, halala puasayan randi atawae, andra playa yadra prawaya naniam barandran, ulasa purapia kwaratrayan, yes aishan shaktraya sumbraya traya samband angongarayan re, Umbre petra sangare yomba para prose chandre pusari arayan. Hayambaya satrango piawe Yalalala sonrepe Halamongrea poso tuayungaran Halalala vosupra omanganandra manandra undre sandrie Salamumrambi andre piatrapo Omria paya satreya siniandratan Om Marianandra Sipia Chandria Satre Kuaye Om Mariandra Satra Rambandrandan Om Brara Satra Kristalaya Sambrandranran Undrotra Praya Sandiandrandran Uaya Sandre piasatre, yadrea sandranran, Yahweh Bravo Pror Pror Abiakau se asambiangi angotresi Ungugura sutraya se Ungugura sundratran Anyamri andre Ut san har hat hut 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 Apabu sepia sandia se quatre sapra sondi andre Intratapia sapia pia 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 sundro tortotro sambaka karo sapia tre pipi Angora pipi tra pipi shandria tra 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 tran sandrasen Sumbia se tatatata sotro tro 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 Andara piti titi asa tra 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 Kototototore sambara tatata sampipi aratarto sandri Yandra sarus hutta 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 hayaua iwu iuru iwu hayatrau Yahweh Yarusaria Kriya Sambandanda Yoson Ron 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 Pisa Pisa Para Sondra Ra Ra Osesha Sata Tata Isha Susapar San Shan Sandi Ayesapa Satra Sisha Satarisa Huturta Sapakarase Undratra Feeling the flow of this radiant, golden white, pure Christos light flowing down and through, opening our bandwidth of our wingspan, opening our hearts, opening all of our meridians, pathways, gateways, portals, chakras, feeling the radiance, feeling the overflowing chalice of radiant, unconditional, immaculate love flowing through, allowing as these master beings of pure Christ light flow in and through, assisting in the further disengaging of all layers and levels of the programming throughout the matrices of our own holographic system, as it is the micro of the macro within the human collective layer of our quantum matrices, in which we have fed into through our existence here and participation in this earth incarnation, dissolving, feeling the dissolving as these radiant beings, these way-sharers of the highest embodiment of Christ consciousness, flow through to further assist us where we decide, where we choose, where we desire to disengage from the false programs of enslavement, imprisonment, sacrifice, self-sacrifice, disengaging, seeing it for what it is on the highest level of conscious awareness here and now, of how these systems of finite potential of imprisonment have played out in our flow and our embodiment of fully embodying ourselves as pure and radiant, immaculate, unconditional love as source, as the highest expression of source embodied. Our personal double diamond sun, Christos, Christ architecture, opening, feeling, resurrecting, as we go deeper into that felt sense, that exploration, that embodiment, that loving, that omnipotent, infinite flow of love, bringing it forth to each and every fractal of our consciousness. All those spaces and places that we have been in resistance of the acceptance of, where we have placed it within a pattern or a system, a victim, a victimizer, disengaging and freeing ourselves now. Freeing ourselves from any and all of these programs of deception, and feeling, embodying ourselves as this love, allowing it to flow through, surrendering, feeling how the fear programs, the guilt, the shames, the not enough, the fear of expressing ourselves openly and infinitely as beacons of radiant love without conditions, freeing ourselves of the fears of how one might receive it, stripping away, melting away all the layers of where we've taken it personally when someone does not receive our love, and then placed a condition on how we will in the future express our love to that being. All a reflection of our relationship with ourselves, letting go, going deeper. Where are we holding on to beliefs within certain cells and imprints of our system where we believe ourselves to be unworthy of infinite, unconditional love? That space, those places are where we project our reality within the relationships with those within our external environment and experience, whereby we see the resistance to the receiving of the flow of unconditional love, whereby we witness the expression of the projection of judgment, of unworthiness that is being held within their own systems, now projected into ours. Seeing this relationship of how unconditional love frees all from these webs of fear, of entanglement, of unworthiness and not enough. Embodying more and more and more of this immaculate, unconditional love allows for us to free ourselves and all others from the polarity and the deception that exists within this experience of separation. Letting go, feeling that nourishment, feeling that support, feeling all the layers going deep within the threads of the timelines that are existing within our holographic formation, of all those layers and aspects of our inner child of this lifetime and others that are now receiving the love, the bandwidths of love that they desired, and receiving the full capability and capacity to integrate the fragments of those timelines of little self, of small self, of the child, integrating and bringing us back into a greater embodiment of wholeness, allowing, surrendering, allowing and surrendering, letting go, letting go, letting go of any and all attachments to how someone was meant to show up and love us but did not. Feeling the freedom pouring through, letting go of the wounds of that which was not provided through our relationships with our mothers, our fathers, our siblings, our friends, our teachers, whomever was the projection of our consciousness. Letting go as we see within this massive pools of clarity, of immaculate Christos consciousness, that we are essentially a reflection of them and they are a reflection of us. And as we go into ourselves and ourselves with this radical self-love, we heal not only ourselves, we heal them in the ways in which we've agreed and come into agreement and assignment to do. Feeling and sensing and witnessing on a greater level that every relationship we've engaged in this existence, whether for a moment, a season, or a lifetime, is a reflection of that which we've chosen as the imprint of our experience of polarity here and now. Freeing ourselves and all others with this radiant flow of golden Christ love, this immaculate Christ love, opening up the gateways, assisting, seeing now, almost as though we're witnessing an infinite expression of these diamond white cosmic doves flying in and all around us, further assisting, coming in and retrieving the threads of polarity from our field and further assisting and freeing as they fly away in the threads of transmutation and the letting go. Bring our breath now back to our regular breath and allowing ourselves to dive even deeper into the receiving, into the deep cellular receiving of this immaculate and radical self-love. Allowing ourselves to feel it, to believe it, with unwavering faith and trust that this flow and felt sense of ecstasy, embrace, nourishment, love is our divine birthright and always has been. As these divine feminine masters and beings of pure Christ consciousness step forth, they begin to bring us our own unique expression and gifts, bring them in and pouring them into our heart space now, further assisting us in the awareness of that which is coming back home here and now through the directing of our consciousness, through the sacred ceremony of resurrection, witnessing greater confirmation as they place these radiant gifts within, assisting us in further coming home, assisting us in witnessing ourselves and knowing ourselves in the greatest embodiment of pure source realization, pure self-realization here and now. As we feel this bandwidth of palpable love flowing up and through our central channels and all around as the toroidal field of omnipresence and omnipotence that it is, we begin to allow ourselves to journey even deeper into surrender, commanding all of our thoughts into the heart space and watching them to dissolve into the highest and truest essence of pure source consciousness, commanding all of our thoughts into our heart space here and now, commanding all of our thoughts into our heart space here and now, commanding all of our thoughts into our heart space here and now. Kalaloparo subiandale sitri titruta otatatre embanda, unkopata tu sapiangata tu sititra satra. Ipa sotro sondra andra bi andre siotro siatran. Harusayandrayan Yamokoro Biyaro Andahu Piaria Maria Seandrahu Mariam Rasatro Mariam Rasatrono Ambarora Trawe O Epiriandrea Tranda O Ingaramrea Siandra O Yabuean Yapaso Piasoma O Kiakata Usiandan Ambare Pipia Shipupura Putrayandran Ia upaya sandri kristala ungram bandri sambombare trandan we ia uepingan donre bangara sorsandre andan istabu brambare indian rangundran rambadro sandin Yandra borotro kumbrambi asandri yandra mundrandi yandra unga 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 namunani asambotushia kawevan Nomiyambara namo brandraya. Nomiyambara namo nandiya shakti ashandi ambiyandri. Umbriyandra ungai pa annamunaya shandra shakti ashundin. Ondiyamanana nambo nandriya kurishindriyan shakti androsumbiyan. Oniyamara trosotrosi chandra sandra nambo shakti atrosambiyan. Halalala sundriyaran. Halalala supra sutriyaran. Halalala sundriyatrawe. Trasapia sandiandri sundianda. Ipiotra sutria sapayo sadi. Ungora trapaya saniani. Ia ua ia. Hambapa sapayisin. Hupro satraya satreyan. Angaraya shitaya satro sotpiandrani. Maya mama miniyami prutu tu 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 asani. Mariam may pipam paparapi tru tru sapatrata uta. Hayapi ayani. Hapaya hapayanan. Hapaya. Hayanu yanayan. Hayaya. Apuraya uaya sayang. Apuraya iyan. Apuraya. Apuraya nanan. Apuraya. Hayatraya nananan. Hayaya. Apuraya nananan. Wawi wa 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 wa. Hawi wa 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 wa. Hai wa wa wa. Apuraya ya 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 ya. Wa mai ania ye. Uai. Hawaii. Hautaya uni mani ausaye. Kuapaya na ya ya. Uai u. Payana u. Ya uai u. Huayana, huayanan, huana, huyanananananananan, hua, 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 shumyangananananan, anna, huyahun, payasayana, hawi, ya, ya, huye, pawa, hua, shayangaya, flowing down and through and all around us once again. This radiant calm of pure platinum source light enveloping us, bringing us now into the womb center of Sophia Gaia, Mother Earth, as we once again feel ourselves nourished in her gentle and powerful embrace. We begin to feel ourselves coming back into our physical bodies, into these radiant temples of pure divinity. These radiant physical temples in every single cell of our physicality represent our relationship with ourselves as source. They hold the frequencies in which we connect and command our consciousness as. And as we blossom and open into the full radiance of our divine essence as immaculate unconditional love, we witness the transformation and the resurrection of the highest expression of our crystalline plasma nature within ourselves, radiating out in an omnipotent glow of physicality, embracing all levels of our beingness here in this radiant flow, this overflowing chalice of immaculate love, immaculate unconditional cosmic self-love, opening, embodying, as we now place our hands perhaps upon our hearts, placing our hands upon our heart, placing a hand upon our root, and grounding ourselves fully back in and through our eternal atom seed of our existence, through the high heart, back into the full invitation, in the acceptance of the invitation of embodying the highest expression of our oversoul of heaven on earth. Feeling that sense of great ascension embodied here and now through this glorious activation and transmission, expressing out in infinite bandwidths, gratitude and appreciation perhaps to all the beings, guides, masters, collectives, to ourselves, our oversouls, our high selves, our souls, and all aspects of our beingness, for showing up in this radiant flow of soul alchemy, in this radiant embodiment of infinite radical self-love, love and further embodiment and recognition of ourselves as source, opening into the greater embodiment of the unified field of consciousness, of the oneness that exists as in, by way of every fractal of consciousness ever individuated from Prime Source Creator. Pakwa puasayande atura tueusanda, pakwara sosapayasa andora wongayandri, akwasa paosandi andara tora kwasa, hongwe piesane andi asi atare sonko kayandi aye, hau kuese. Aum me awe anananan. Aum me angaya we aya uni. Aum. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Taking our time, coming back into the here and now, coming back into our physical bodies, grounding ourselves, rooting ourselves with each and every breath, down and into the crystalline diamond core and womb center of Sophia Gaia, into her diamond grid network, into the golden chalice grid network of pure Christos consciousness, flowing into greater connection as the one,